Tonight we have Amanda Ensing. She is a Latina makeup YouTube star who started her own beauty YouTube channel in her college bedroom that now has millions of subscribers and views, that has also ended up becoming a beauty empire, working alongside major mainstream beauty industry brands such as Sephora. Sephora is in the hot seat as well. She's a beauty and lifestyle creator and entrepreneur. Welcome to the show, Amanda Ensing. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited too. Amanda, I've been watching what's been happening to you, and, I'm pretty sure a lot of people could relate to it. I don't think this is the end. I think this is going to continue. Not just people that are YouTube stars or that have a massive social media presence, but I think this is going to happen to the little guys. I mean, if you're like a real estate agent, or if you find yourself, flipping burgers at McDonald's, wherever, I think if people start to find out that you support a president they disagree with, or you have different opinions than the left, they're just going to come after you. Absolutely. So before we get into this, Amanda, if you could just share your backstory. How did you get involved with this whole YouTube beauty industry? How did this happen? What's your story?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started 9 years ago. I was finishing up my degree at the University of Tennessee, and I majored in political science and business administration. So I was getting ready for law school and nothing to do in the beauty industry. And coincidentally, my town opened a store called Sephora. And, my whole life growing up in a very, very small town, I'd only shopped at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, which only had a few drugstore brands at the time. So when I saw the store, I was like, oh my gosh, so many brands, I need to learn. So I went to the internet. This is when the very first kind of beauty gurus and influencers were emerging. And I was so captivated by these, mainly women at the time just doing makeup. And I felt like I belonged somewhere, because I've always loved beauty and fashion, but didn't always have a lot of friends that did. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'd always loved creating content. Back in the MySpace days, I used to have my younger brothers take profile pictures of me outside whenever we didn't have school. And I was like, this is awesome. So I didn't have a lot of money. I worked, I paid for college and everything myself. I worked 2 jobs at the time. So I thought, all right, how can I do a YouTube channel? I'd watched YouTube music videos, but didn't know much. So I had my laptop I would use to film on my webcam. And I didn't have lighting, but I would stack my textbooks up in front of my window, and I had the light. If it was sunny, I could film. And I just started documenting my process, makeup reviews. Most were drugstore. I did a few Sephora reviews, but they were usually samples because I couldn't afford to spend the money. Makeup can be very expensive. And people started tuning in and watching. And pretty soon I felt like my follower count kept going up. So when I got to about 20,000 subscribers, I was finishing my degree, because I started my senior year of college. So I was finishing my degree, and I remember getting an email saying, we have a brand that wants to pay you for a video. And I'm like, you could get paid by doing this. So I replied to the brand. They said, we'll pay you $250 for a video. And I said, $500 and you got a deal. And that was my first sponsorship. And from there I said, I'm not going to law school. I found what I'm passionate about. And I'd been praying for years, like, God, what do you want me to do? And it never really made sense. I was just doing, my mom came from Puerto Rico, and she was like, school, get a higher education, get a good job. So, I love negotiate. I thought I'll do law. And I finally found a place where I belonged. And YouTube gave that to me back in the good old YouTube days in the beginning. So from there, I couldn't be stopped. I did social media for a few years on YouTube, living in Tennessee. And then 4 years ago, I moved to LA. I wanted to move to LA so I could start my cosmetic brand. So I moved to LA, was there for 4 years, and then I moved to Nashville last March to be closer to family. But that's kind of everything in a nutshell.
Got it. Okay. So Amanda, you're like clearly living the American dream as a powerful, independent, Hispanic woman, Latina woman that's living the American dream. The epitome of an independent Latina woman, entrepreneur, just like killing it in America, right? Like you are everything the left should love. Right.
Thank you.
So okay,
you would think, based on
right?
what they say. Yeah.
Yeah. You're everything the left should love. You should be like the poster child, but something's going on. What exactly is happening around you? All this controversy with Sephora, them coming after you, all these radical, leftists on social media, even in the beauty industry, are all coming after you. What's going on? What exactly is the story? Because I'm getting DMs from people saying like, you're this, you're that, like all this like half truth, not even truth, just like lies, right? There's people writing articles about you, hit pieces, this and that. So What's going on, Amanda? Let's hear it from you. What exactly
Yeah,
is
my
taking
truth.
place? What's happening in your life? Because
Yeah,
you're the
for
one that's
sure.
happening to.
For sure. So I agree with you completely. I have worked with some of the biggest brands in the world. I started talking about Trump, and I started talking about my conservative views, and I started talking about Jesus more. So Sephora reached out to me through a third party platform called Reward Style, and they said Sephora wants to work with you. So when I was going through the contract, you can see in my Instagram video if anyone wants to see the specifics. In the clause, they had an out clause that Sephora can terminate, and then they can also not pay me. And the clause was so broad, pretty much if you do anything to insult, embarrass, things like that. So I asked, I said, I've never signed a contract like this in my entire life, that you could not only get out, which a brand has never asked me to remove content before. This is the first time. And I've worked with Sephora, mind you, several times in my career, but also not pay you. So I said, I cannot not get paid for work that I've done. It's a huge risk. And I said, look, I've gotten heat for my conservative and Christian values. I let them know I'm always honest with my brands. And the response I got was assuring me that they did not discriminate against political or religious groups, and that this clause was only for extreme violence, extreme situations such as violence or hate speech. So I signed the contract. I uploaded the video. They approved it. They said, Sephora loves your video. I uploaded it. And I mean, the comments were great for the most part. You always have trolls on the internet, which is fine. It's understandable. But all of these comments, like even people saying, oh, I'm so happy Sephora decided to work with you and they're not discriminating. Like these comments were there before Sephora said anything.
Yeah.
People were excited. My followers were excited because I've been vocal for months, and people like, where I stand now. So Friday night, I get an email urgent, Sephora wants you to remove the video from Reward Style. And I'm thinking, well, why? So my legal team reaches out. I'm trying to enjoy, dinner with my family. And now I'm trying to get my legal team, and my legal team asked for an explanation, and there was none given, still none given, just the clause of they can terminate. So then it became kind of, well, we'll only pay you essentially if you remove it by midnight. And I'm thinking, well, what's going on? So then Saturday comes and I'm, filming my video. I want to tell my story. And they email my legal team saying, well, we can pay you today if you will sign the settlement agreement. And so my lawyer goes through that. Of course, I can't say anything. They want to pay for your silence. You cannot buy someone's voice. My values don't have a price tag. So initially on Friday, my legal team told them, look, I'll take down the video if you pay me in full, because then I could guarantee that I get paid for what I've done and I can say whatever I want. My First Amendment, my voice. So we didn't respond to the settlement. I made my video, and I mean, the response has just been thousands of conservatives and also people that are liberals, libertarian, all saying, look, this isn't right. And, other people coming forward with their experiences, and Sephora is just quiet. To me, it was very hurtful to see, not only did they ask me to remove the content because of a few comments they were getting on their page. I think they have 20 million followers or so, but they only got not very many comments, 20, 30. So I guess when they got comments at me, it seemed maybe like a lot to them. Maybe if they got 10 comments, I don't know how many comments they got. But in particular, when this image went viral that I showed in my video of a comment saying, didn't like Sephora before, but definitely not because you support Amanda Ensing, who is part of a dangerous MAGA group. And then Sephora responded saying, thanks for letting us know she doesn't fit our values of inclusivity. I mean, to alienate over half of the nation based on their conservative views is not inclusivity or unity to me. So, my credibility is important to me. I felt like it was my responsibility to be open always and honest with my followers and my audience, and let them know what's happening. These brands can't get away with this.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you, because you're involved in the beauty industry in this entire world. I know, like my wife, she watches all the videos that's going on and stuff like that, all the tutorials, and I just hear it like, when we're asleep and I'm listening to what, like, there's drama, there's like a whole world, but I'm curious to hear your perspective on this based off of what you're experiencing and what's happening to you. It sounds like cancel culture has gone after you because of your political views, right? You're not like even politically affiliated with the Republican Party. You weren't campaigning for Trump like officially or anything like that. You just simply appear to be supporting a president that they hate. My question is, if someone like sponsored by Sephora, or if someone in the same position as you came out and made a video with radical statements supporting like political statements inspired by Black Lives Matter or even Antifa and what they stand for, especially after what Black Lives Matter and Antifa have been involved in. And trust me, I cover these riots. You know, no one can tell me that these things are myths. Like, I've been there, I've documented them. If someone in this industry did the same thing, but for Black Lives Matter, and their actions they take, right, that they deem necessary or they justify, even Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon justify rioting live on CNN, right? If someone did that, would they be treated the same way as you are?
I think it's the classic rules for me, but not for thee. There have been people in my position that have supported those things, that have supported violence, saying that it was okay. What the first time I spoke out was on Twitter last summer when the riots started breaking out, whenever cities started burning. I don't remember exactly what I tweeted because I deleted it out of fear right away, but I had tweeted and I said, violence isn't the answer. How is burning down buildings helping anyone? And you're also burning down Black-owned businesses as well. And the hate started pouring in of, oh, girl, delete this. Oh, girl, no, like this is justified, all of these things. And that was the first moment I spoke out when things started to happen in America. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, but this isn't right. So I spent the next couple of months doing my due diligence and research and praying and like getting my voice strong. And even for what I'm going through now, there have been influencers that have more followers than me, that have threatened violence against me, that have mocked my faith. They've mocked my political beliefs. They've saying, oh, you're not Latina. Even someone said you're not mixed because you curl your hair. And it's okay. So only Latinas, they only have curly hair, but all these things, right? None of this happened. Like, all of these people followed me before I talked about Trump, before I talked about my conservative views. I spent time with some of these people. They had no issue with me. I wasn't racist, homophobic, white supremacist, not Latina before the election. And all of a sudden it's like a light switch, all of a sudden target bad. And they have publicly smeared me and attacked me, threatening to pull up on me and all these things. No brand has disaffiliated with them. They continue to get work. They continue to get deals. And it's like that mob cancel culture of just hit them while they're down. And to me, like, the idea of someone doesn't deserve to wear makeup or to work at, McDonald's or anywhere just because of their political views is absurd. This is America. We have the right, our natural God-given right to use our voice. And, I think that, like, I'm sure you've seen, everything they stand for, they also use as a weapon against anyone who disagrees. It's like the thought police, and it's disgusting.
Let me ask this. The left, including Sephora, all these, left-leaning organizations or, businesses that even claim to side with, like, leftist ideologies, they claim to be inclusive, pushing for diversity, different colored people, different kind of thoughts, even, sex, gender, race, the list goes on, right? How does canceling a Latina conservative prove that? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that, to me, it sends a message to not only Latinas, but also to conservatives to, wow, Sephora just said I'm invisible. I don't matter to them. They don't want my business. I mean, like I said, doesn't fit into their values of inclusivity. That's a very strong statement to say. Even I read from a Yahoo Finance article from Sephora CEO of Sephora Americas, even in their influencer Sephora squad, they talked about how they want diversity of all kinds of backgrounds. And to promote something with no action means nothing. And all Sephora or any brand has to do is say, look, we support people of all thoughts and all backgrounds and all religions and political beliefs. We don't discriminate, right? We don't discriminate. We accept people. Yeah. That's all they had to say. But instead they said, ooh, you know what? We got some bad comments. You're right. She's out. And I don't think that they were ready for the amount of people and patriots and just, really people worldwide that are coming forward saying this is wrong.